Hey guys, and welcome to another speed build. As I'm sure you can tell by the title, this is a build of a modern art museum, but it's not just a build, it is actually a renovation of the science lab. So all I did was take the science lab in The Sims 4 and I copied it to another lot and then renovated it. As you can tell, I've already done some work, and the reason that it isn't recorded is because when I first started doing this, my power went out. Somebody hit a pole and my power went out for about 10 hours or so, and so it saved in my game what I had done, but the recording of it did not save. So that's why we're coming in already a little bit finished with it, but that's okay. You can kind of see what I've done if you've ever seen the science lab. But yeah, I thought that this building is super awesome and it would be really cool to turn it into something else and kind of have that industrial meets modern vibe with it. So as you can see, I just changed the outside, put a lattice type design on that awning area. I'm putting in lots of fountains, and I put in some nice big windows and wood paneling and stuff throughout the place. I wanted to do kind of an industrial meets modern thing, and I wanted it to almost have like a desert oasis type feel because we are in the middle of Oasis Springs, so there is a lot of water features around, and I did put in quite a few plants and sculptures and things like that. But yeah, that's all I'm doing right now is just working on the outside, and I really am happy with the way this turned out. I think that it's really cool to have, and because the lot is so big, you definitely get like a lot of items on there. Like I do put a bar in downstairs, there is a picture and painting studio, and then there's like space out back that you could easily just move some things around and add in like a wedding arch, and you can have a wedding here. It's just a really cool space, I think. So this is where I put in the bar and the bathroom. So there are no other bathrooms on the lot except for these ones downstairs, which I didn't think was that big of a deal because your Sims could just easily come down here to use the restroom. And there is a bar, like I said, in that other space, which has a dance floor and I think it has a TV, little couch area. I was just kind of putting in placeholders so that I knew what I wanted to do there, but I think it came out pretty cool. And upstairs is just more art space. The main of the building, like that big space, is just like the museum part, and then this little tower is really all that it is. It's a tower, and then you can go upstairs and there's an observatory up there. And then the little room that it kind of branches off to on the side has a photography studio and painting studio, and then there's like a little greenhouse which is kind of a sitting area and has some plants in there, but it is mostly for painting and like just relaxing. And then yeah, I did, like I said, use most of the space for museum, but there's some pretty cool stuff right here. I'm working on one of my favorite features, which is like a little kind of island patio, if that makes sense. So I used this AstroTurf and made a little pathway out to it and then surrounded it by water, and I put in a few palm trees and stuff just to make it kind of look like a little island oasis back there. And it's a little bit private, but you do get that kind of opening to the hallway, so it's not super private. But oh, and also if you're wondering why the main building doesn't really have a lot of windows, I don't know if you've ever been to a museum, but typically museums don't have windows in them, at least like where the art is, because sunlight can actually destroy paintings, and it can destroy like the pigments and stuff. So typically museums like this do not have windows. They might have like protected skylights and like things like that to kind of get rid of the UV rays, but I decided not to put windows in the main building, and I did have the windows obviously out to the greenhouse, but there's a wall there now. And also I did this really cool thing with the ivy on this tower. I made it kind of wrap around the sides so it looked like it's been there for a really long time, and I thought that that was pretty cool. Outside I decided to do like a little sculpture exhibit, and so I put some of these like modern looking sculptures out here and then used the little rope fence and put around it so that it looked like they were kind of roped off. And I thought that it was kind of cool to have like a sculpture exhibit outside because there wasn't a ton of space inside to put sculptures, so I thought that it was a good use of space. I decided to size up this elephant topiary and use it right here because I think it's really cool and it's kind of an art piece itself, and I never really get to use it, and so I thought that was a good space to put it in. And I just put some like low line ground flowers there so that the elephant could kind of stand out. I tried putting some little planter boxes under the palm trees to make them look like they were growing out of there because you can't put terrain paint on the AstroTurf, but it just looked kind of weird, so I decided to delete it. I put this fire pit over here because I thought that that would be kind of a cool, use of the space, and it's a little more private, so I thought that that would be an interesting place to have a fire pit. And then there I was just checking the outdoor lighting and trying to make it a little bit brighter over here. I end up changing those lamps that I put down because I thought that they kind of looked a little strange right there, but I was just trying to brighten up the area because it was a little bit dark. I really like using those like low little round spotlight ground lamps to kind of lighten things up, and I put them in the plants, but I also use kind of the tilted down spotlight, as you can see like on the wall back where the ivy is. I put it like aimed towards the elephant so that it would kind of light it up from behind, and I did that to a lot of the the waterfalls that are sticking out. I did that with the lighting so that they'd light up and kind of stand out more. And then I pretty much just uplit everything else. So yeah, and I tried to put a little fountain over there to kind of match this side, but I really didn't like the way that it looked, so instead I just put the waterfall that has like the bottom underneath of it that you don't need the water for, if that makes sense. And then I was just working on the upstairs and kind of figuring out the layout plan and adding in some feature walls that I could put paintings on. Oh, and here is where I started in more so on the bathroom and the bar area. I went with kind of an orange and white theme just to kind of make things look a little more contemporary and brighten things up a bit. I thought it was kind of cool what I did right here. I used those stone ottomans and kind of created an L-shaped seating area in the corner, and I just thought that it was kind of neat. I put in a little jukebox in the corner and a TV on the wall. I thought about putting in like a DJ or something, but I really wanted the focus of this lot to be the museum and not necessarily like a nightclub, so it's just kind of like a little bar, maybe like a restaurant area that's downstairs, and you could just kind of grab something to eat or drink if you are on the lot. And I was gonna put in some graffiti, but it looked kind of weird, so I just put in some art, and I put that neon sign above the bar, and then I also put that same sign right here above the door that kind of leads downstairs, so that it kind of made you see, oh, this is the bar area that I'm going into. And then I did put some like random walls around so that we could hang up the art and, you know, have it be obviously the focus, because this is a museum. So that's what I'm doing now, going around and putting in some lighting, and I put in the nice wood floor. And I did put in a front desk area just because there typically is like a little reception area at the front of museums, but obviously it's not gonna function because there's no need for it. It's kind of more just for looks than anything else. And again, I went with kind of an orange theme. I think my idea for this lot was kind of wood, like that raw kind of brown wood mixed with orange and then like white colors, because the white paneling and then the white bricks are kind of like the other thing that I went with touches of black here and there. And I was trying to figure out a way to light up that sign and like make this area brighter without using, you know, the really ugly bright lights. So I kind of used more artsy lights and then kind of just filled it with the little spotlights on the ceiling. So, you know, whatever. The entrance is a little bit dark, but it doesn't really matter. And then I used the art lights, and I went into the gallery and I looked up paintings, because people have their Sims paint a bunch of paintings, put them in a room, and then upload them to the gallery. If you ever want artwork that isn't in the game and you don't want your Sim to paint it, I recommend doing that, because they put all different kinds of paintings, and then you can just download the room and then pick the ones you want and then delete the room, and there you go. So the museum, I think, benefits from that, because you get to kind of look at pictures that you don't see all the time in the game as it is. So you can see I'm going back and forth and kind of pulling out pictures. I kind of did little areas, like this is kind of more of a abstract art slash like impressionistic kind of painting area, and then I went with one that has kind of a portrait type look, and I did mix in some of the like build and buy mode paintings as well, and I put in a little bit I put in a few sculptures here and there downstairs as well, so I could kind of mix it up. And as you can see, I put some security cameras on the wall because I just thought that that was, you know, kind of realistic. Here's another little statue that I put in, and I put the sign next to it to kind of make it look like there's maybe information about the artist. There's also plaques underneath each of the paintings that I assumed would be information about the paintings, like the name and the artist and all of that stuff. And I did put roping around some of the paintings, obviously not all of them because it would take up too much of the walkway, but these main feature walls I did. Here's my little portrait area. You can see I'm taking pictures that are of like Sims faces, so obviously like portraits, and have that. So it's just kind of cool. And I did stick some seating around here and there so that your Sims could rest if they wanted to, or, you know, just look at the art. And I did kind of decide to go with a little bit weirder of displays because it is a modern art museum, so the things in it are obviously modern and not more traditional like a lot of museums are. I think there is a modern art museum in Oasis Springs, but yeah, whatever. You could just delete that one if you wanted to put this one in and maybe put in another bar or something in that spot. I don't know. But yeah, so right now I'm just going around and putting in sculptures, putting in art, and making it look like a museum. So here I decided to start working on the little greenhouse area, and I did this cool thing with those fountains. I kind of overlapped them to make a triquetra. It's like the symbol from Charmed. It's not from that, but they use it in that. You might recognize it. And I did just little fountains spraying out of there, and then a seating area with some easels to paint, and then just throwing around some plants in there. I thought that it would just be kind of like a little quiet area that people could go and sit and relax. I think I put speakers in there. Maybe not. I was considering putting in like the spa music speakers, but I think I didn't end up doing that. And then I kind of went from there outside and created a little seating area next to the fountains. And then I was just going around to see if I needed to add any more art downstairs, which I did not. So I started to work on upstairs, which again is just where I put like sculptures and paintings, and I think there's some seating areas in there as well, but it's mostly just to look at the art. I think I put... maybe not. I was gonna say I think I put a sculpture in there, but I think I just put little ottomans to, yeah, like that, to sit on. So didn't put a sculpture in there, but I do put one in the other part and like right there. And I just, you know, went around and looked at stuff and sized up some smaller things just to try to create some different art than what you're used to seeing in the game. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. I must have been off the screen. I think I was doing something else and the mouse was moving. But yeah, I did try to utilize some of these smaller paintings as well by doing like a little bit of a random placement display over here, which I thought turned out kind of cool. There are some paintings that I only put one sign underneath, like that one for example, because I thought that they would be more of an art installment by one artist rather than, you know, like a bunch of paintings. Like they're supposed to be together, if that makes sense. And I used these chess piece lights and kind of sized them up so that they would give off light but also look like sculptures, and I put some more portraits over here, and then I ended up putting like an actual couch in this area, which I thought was kind of cool, and like a little chair. I don't know what possessed me to do that, but it's a nice little area to go sit. So that was kind of neat. And I did use this big rug over here, and then that's pretty much the upstairs done. I went ahead and deleted the painting room because I didn't need it anymore because that was it for the art. And then I started working on the backyard area. As you can see, I decided to carry over that ivy kind of look that we have on the tower on parts of the brick on this building as well, so that it was a little more cohesive. The backyard, well, it's not really a yard, but the back area was really difficult to light. I didn't want to use big street lamps, but I actually ended up putting in some anyways because it just didn't look good without it. And then I did put a little fountain area over here, just kind of like a mini version of what we have in the front area. And then this whole area is just plants, and I do put in some palm trees. I was gonna put in the llama topiary. I don't remember if I kept it though, but I used those same low-lying flowers and, oh, well, no, wait, maybe, llama. Oh yeah, I did a mama llama and the baby llamas, that's right. And I was gonna put these bushes in, but I didn't like them, so I delete them, and I put in some different size palm trees, and then I think I stick some like fountains just squirting up from the ground back here. Yeah, like that. And then I add some lights, and that's pretty much it. I was considering putting a wedding arch back here myself, but I decided to make it a little more functional, and like I said, if you wanted to, you could easily just make this a wedding area. I did put in a buffet table because I figured, you know, food is a good thing, so there's another place to get food, a little table area, and then obviously the horseshoes. Over here I just did again the same flowers. Oh, and I put some of those industrial like science lab pieces around the outside of the building, which I haven't talked about yet, but you've probably seen a few more of them. I just thought that it was cool considering this was like a renovated science building, so I just left them, you know, in random spots so that it looked cool. I was initially going to have this be a sculpture room, but I really didn't like that, and I was going to have like a little sitting area over here. I basically delete all of this because it just wasn't what I wanted for the space, so I was like, we'll try something else. I do like that orange rug though, but I don't use it, so basically ignore everything I'm doing here aside from like a couple of the paintings on the wall because none of it stays. Here I'm starting in on the tower. I didn't really know what to put on the tower, and that's what gave me the idea to do the photo studio in here because I considered putting that on the tower, but then I was like, oh no, I'll put it over there. And so then I went back to this area and made it into a photo studio and just put in some little decorations to make it look like, you know, this is a photographer workstation. I did put a refreshment little area there, and then some painting stuff and a couple of easels in the corner with the cool little still life setup right there, like the light one. So I thought that that was a better use of the space, and then I went back to the tower. Wasn't sure what to put in the actual tower area itself. I did a little skylight down to the bottom because I thought that that would be kind of cool. And then I was like, oh, the observatory, that'll be neat. And then basically just a seating area. And then I put some plants on the roof over here because I kind of wanted to give this building a little bit of kind of an eco feel. So that's what I did there. And yeah, that's basically the whole build done. We're gonna get into some screenshots here in a second. So here we have a lovely shot of the front of the building, which I just think it looks so cool all together like that. I love the observatory. And I put those panels at the top of the greenhouse to make them look like solar panels. There's a closer view of the fountain feature in front. We've got some close-ups of the sculptures outside. Just really awesome. I love how there's Sims on the lot because it is a museum. The adorable little elephant topiary that we have. He's all cute and adorable. Close-up of the little island area. Really liked the way this turned out. I think it's so cool. I would love to go back there myself, but you know, it's The Sims, so not gonna happen. Another little view of it. Then we have the front desk area with the nice downlit sign that looks pretty cute when it's all lit up at night. Got when you go off to the left side of the entrance, and we have some paintings that are on the wall along with a seat. Here is that first hallway. We've got Johnny Zest in there admiring some artwork. Little look at the entryway out into the greenhouse area. Close up of the greenhouse itself. I love that fountain feature. I think it turned out pretty cool. Love how you can see outside with that. Then we've got another look at down into the museum. Got some Sims checking out the artwork. Another view as you're going to go head out to the back area. We've got, of course, the main sculpture inside. That thing is super cool. I love the way those little orbs light up. Then we've got down in the bar. Close up of the bar itself. I think that it's super cool. I love the orange with the white and the black. I just think it's really contemporary looking. And then we have upstairs with the chess pieces and the little sitting area by the stairs. And of course the little art nook with the ottomans. Here's a good view of the back. We've got some Sims going inside the building. A nice look at the horseshoe pits. Picture of the fountain that is headed into the art studio. As well as a shot of the little llama. Nice view of the photography portion of the studio. The little work area. I love that vintage camera. I think it's super neat. Then we have the painting area. Little look into the hallway between the buildings. Closer look at the little outside back area that connects to where the sculptures are. Love those science pieces. A look at the awning. And then the observatory, and that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.